Andor has been revolutionary, both literally and figuratively, with multiple consecutive episodes rating a 9.5 out of 10 or higher on IMDb, according to the Snapshot by Forbes. Needless to say, this is also the highest rated Star Wars project, including the movies to date, according to The Hollywood Reporter. The series ushers us straight into the events of Rogue One while simultaneously informing us that there will be no Season 3. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Talk About Tatooine. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Nathan.
And we are twin brothers here to bring you what's new in nerddom and give colorful commentary on our favorite subjects. Welcome to our cantina, grab a drink, and settle in as we set course for realities beyond our own.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 116. Today's recording date is May 22nd, and this episode will be released on Monday, May 26th. Today, we're going to be discussing Andor Season 2.
On the show today, you might notice that we are three. Welcome to the show, Ruthless, Nightsister. We are so glad to have you here. Can you give our listeners a quick introduction?
Hello, my name's Ruthie, or also known as Ruthless Nightsister across the entire interwebs. I do Star Wars cosplay, gaming over on Twitch and YouTube, and I'm just an all-around, very big, very crazy, obsessive Star Wars fan.
You're going to fit right in.
Like a glove. Let's get into, we're going to recap the episodes 10, 11, and 12 really quick for you guys, and then let's get right into the discussion. All right, so episode 10, Luthen and Lonnie have a talk with Dedra, and she finally tracks down Axis. Kleya escapes after Luthen burns the transmitter. Dedra arrives on Luthen's front door. Then we flash back to Luthen, the Imperial Army soldier, who finds a stowaway, also known as Kleya, and they both walk away from the Empire. Back to the present, Kleya infiltrates the hospital where the ISB desperately tries to keep Luthen alive, knowing she has to end his life.
Then we finish and get into episode 11. The Empire is leaking information. Krennic interrogates Dedra and imprisons her for leaking DS1 details. Kleya retreats to the safe house and sends out her SOS. Cassie, yeah, you guys remember that too? That's the first thing I thought of, was just the aggressive finger on the head. Cassian and Willman get the message and jump into action. Director Krennic interrogates some more. Melshi, Cassian, and K2 deploy to Coruscant to rescue Kleya. The ISB close in on the safe house.
Cassian and Melshi beat the ISB to the safe house, but only barely, and a face-off ensues. K2 saves the day. They return to Yavin with Kleya, and the first hints that the Imperial Energy Project were a hoax. Bail returns to Alderaan, bummer, and the Alliance enters an even higher state of readiness. Rebel intelligence receives word of critical intel coming in through the rings of Kafrene. Dedra goes to prison, lol. And then we see Bix and B2 are flourishing on Mina Rao, where Bix is raising her child, and Cassian deploys to Kafrene, and we are plunged into the events of Rogue One. I gotta say, I'm sad it's over, but I'm happy it happened.
It was so good. It was so good. All right, folks, going over and hitting all the main points of what happened in 10, 11, 12, we're going to go into kind of our favorite moments from these episodes, and this can include really the entire season because we are done with Andor for the moment. Ruthie, can you hit us with some of your favorite moments from these episodes?
I don't know, there's so many good ones. It's hard to choose, like, a favorite. Like, just the entirety of everything Kleya does in all, she, like... Oh my gosh, she's so good. Like, I would not be mad if we got more of her character in the future, whether it's even just in, like, comics or a book or something like that. Like, she is such a cool character. You always have to throw it to the K2 freaking hallway scene. Like, I was not ready. I don't know if anyone else felt the same way, where I'm like, this is dark. Like, not that Andor isn't dark, but, like, it was, like, horror movie K2 is coming to murder everyone kind of craziness.
Seeing a grown man being held by his neck, like limp like a noodle, I was like, oh no.
Just like, you're like, dang, okay.
Yeah, some of these guys get bodied by K2, and even during the when you first see the K2 droids come out, and they're just like walking through civilians like they're like stalks of wheat.
Throwing
just
them
like
around.
Just stop it! They're so big. Like, oh my gosh, terrifying.
Like, I don't know why I've never viewed those droids as being that scary. And maybe it's because of K2 and like the soft spot we all have for him from Rogue One. But like, I think Andor really was like, no, these are very scary droids.
Like
Again,
the moment.
Go ahead, Andrew. You're going to get this a lot. I'm so sorry. People do the same thing because we think the same. Oh, no, you. It's
No, I
horrible.
insist.
No, you.
I am gonna butt in. So from the previous arc, when Cyril walks into the room with all the K2 units, and the one just like looks straight at him, I kind of went, oh no,
Oh shoot.
Danger, Will Robinson, you gotta leave. Like, I know we're not rooting for Cyril, but it's like, my dude, you're in danger. Like, you gotta get out of there.
A tiny bit of me was rooting for Cyril at the end. Like, a little bit. I was like, oh, okay. Although, domestic abuse, not super cool with that. Becoming a part of the rebellion, I was like, okay, maybe, but man,
no,
they did
no, he's just
Parn
having a
dirty.
breakdown. Oh my gosh, his ending was just so oomph. Like, it's one of those moments that was like, dang.
Well, and he's not really a trained fighter, so seeing him just like lay the hurt down on Cassian, you're like, somebody needs to help this guy. And
Straight
just,
psycho energy.
Oh yeah,
he just
Oh, yeah.
snaps.
His whole life was just, he didn't care anymore. It didn't matter. Nothing mattered. He was just out.
A lifetime of his mother gaslighting him into trying to be a better person. Like, doesn't matter what his achievements were. And then finally he's like, oh, look, the object of my rage.
Oh, look, my obsession. I found him and he doesn't know who I am. Oh,
that was
shoot.
brutal.
Oh, gosh.
We'll pour one out for Will. Way to save the day, bud. He really has got the team on his back. Everyone around Cassian, like, carries him to victory. There are so many times in season 2 where I'm like, Cassian would not have survived that without the help of everybody else.
No.
It's interesting that you bring up Willman, because he acts so recklessly, basically since like the moment that his father is kidnapped and captured in season 1. Like, he's always there in every single Ferrix episode, and he just becomes more and more integrated into the plot. And then we see him huff gasoline with Saw Gerrera, and you're like, okay, so he's completely off the edge now. And the entire time I'm thinking Willman is gonna die, and it's gonna like destroy my heart. But I can't believe he made it.
I was shocked. Yeah.
Yeah, like, he
Same.
was on the list of people that were for sure gonna get themselves killed.
Obviously. He's so obviously going to do something stupid. And even the moment when he went back for his Gorman girlfriend, he's like, no, I have to save her. We're like, props to you.
Dead.
You did the right thing, but you're for sure dead. Like, I'm so sorry. This is the last time we're going to see you. And then it's like, no, he makes it. He makes it back to Yavin. He's super wounded. He's like got a limp and stuff. But even in the final arc, he gets the message that what's her face, Dedra, no, is it Dedra? Who do they no, Clea is like calling for help, and he's like, we have to go get her. At this point, I'm like, Willman, you are safe, dude. I'm like, you're not combat ready, you can't do it. Do not go to Coruscant and put yourself in danger. And like, thank goodness he stays on Yavin.
I was ready to be so mad if he had hopped in that U-Wing, because you're like, yep, he's gone, he's dead, he's not going to make it. I'm just as shocked as you guys that he survived this, because 100% I was like, they are setting, all of TV and film has told me that this character is getting set up to die right now. They're making me emotionally attached to him, and they're going to off him. It's going to be terrible.
Kill him. They gave him a girlfriend, they gave him people who care about him, and now they're going to kill him.
Yeah, they gave him a revenge story. They gave him a love interest. I'm like, stop it. You're going to murder him.
Oh, do you love love? Well, this guy's for sure going to die.
This guy's going to go.
Every single time.
As a total side note, and I may not keep this because it's a little spoilery. Ruthie, have you watched The Last of Us?
I have not, but I am familiar.
Well, if you don't mind getting your heart ripped out, I won't say anything. It's really good. It's TVMA, so it's certainly more adult in a lot of different ways, but it's phenomenal. It's really good.
Heard good things.
But it's like, so the season 2 of that is also out. So my wife and I were just bouncing between shows that are like emotionally devastating. And then
I watched these back to back. I don't know what's wrong with me, but
I'm fine.
You're fine. Everything's okay.
Everything's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
house is on fire, but this is fine.
I love coffee a lot. That's why we have decided to partner with Javi as our first advertiser. Javi is a series of coffee products, including coffee concentrate, which we have personally both tasted and enjoyed. I find simple comfort in the original coffee concentrate that I mix with almond milk and brown sugar to make a rich iced tea that feels perfect for the spring and summer weather. The mocha concentrate is an easy recommendation, as coffee and chocolate are the perfect pair. These small bottles are good for dozens of servings, or if you're a real caffeine fiend, less. Mix it hot or cold. Either works if you're looking for a quick and delicious way to keep that sweet bean dream marching forward. Shoppers who use our link in the description get a discount on their order and directly supports this podcast. You must use the link. Elevate your coffee today with Javi. Follow the link on screen and in the description and ride that dopamine train straight to Beantown. Can we say that? Yeah, of course we can. That's code TALKABOUT-T97755. Or follow the link on screen or in the description. Now, back to the show.
Andrew, hit us with one of your favorite moments from these episodes, please.
Sure thing. One thing I have written down is when Dedra finally shows up to Luthen's shop. And I felt like every muscle in my body tense up because I'm like, oh crap. Does she know? Like, she knows. She has to know. But, like, even to the very moment that she reveals that he knows who he is, it's not clear that he's actually discovered. And they wrote it, I think, really, really well. And it's, like, because you want him to be safe. You're like, he just has to walk out of the building and he's safe. That's all he has to do. And then she pulls out the destroyed Starpath unit and it's like, oh, he's dead. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, she knows. Oh,
it's like, oh, she totally knows. And I thought
good.
that was because, like, at first I thought, I'm like, if I was Dedra and I was chasing down this person with a fanatical zeal and I had the entire resources of a fascist armed government at my back, I'd be like, dude, why are you even entertaining a conversation? Just kick down the door. Like, come on.
It's presentation.
Yeah, and she's like, no, it's my turn for a monologue. All of the good people in this show got a monologue. It's my turn. And she totally just f***ed it up.
You got me monologuing.
Luthen, like, you can see on his face that he's like totally calm as a cucumber the entire time. Even when she reveals that he knows him, you kind of see his face, like, he kind of like his mannerisms show that he's like, oh crap, my cover's blown. But then he's like, you know what? No, I'm going to take this time and I'm going to let her know how much she's failed. She's like, and Luthen goes into how, like, the rebellion has already fled from this place. I'm the only one left. You have nothing on me. And then to take a very, very jagged knife and off himself, I'm like, oh my Lord Almighty. That is, I'm like, that takes more spine. I could never be like.
The moment he handed her that knife, I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Somebody's getting stabbed at the end
yeah,
of this scene.
either she's getting stabbed or he's getting stabbed. Somebody's getting stabbed.
And for a second, I thought that, like, I was like, he's just going to straight up stab her. I was like, she's going to turn to the suitcase and right there, he's just going to go, just done. But, like, he keeps his cool the entire time because he knows, he's like, that's not really my job. My job is not to be a fighter. My job is to make sure that Clea is safe and that none of my intel gets to the Empire. Those are his only two goals, which is very noble. Like, he stays on mission till the very, very end. Even though, like, we see a lot of the rebellion, a lot of infighting within the rebellion and people who are rebels, I should say. Like, Rebel Alliance Command they can't have a conversation without everyone being like, actually, did you consider that you might be an idiot and none of this is true? Like, that's their entire vibe. Did you eat a bowl of dumb for breakfast? Like, it's so frustrating. And even though Luthen, like, obviously is at odds with Alliance Command, he still is like, I gotta do the right thing. Like, it doesn't matter if these people don't get along with me. This is the right thing.
Luthen almost strikes me as being like halfway partisan in this because the rebellion doesn't like him, but he also is like, I'm not Saw Gerrera, please. Like, I have standards, but also I'm not part of Rebel High Command, so I totally love that. I think for me, my favorite moment of this was definitely his exchange between Luthen and Lonnie. And in my brain, my silly, young, apparently childlike brain was thinking, wow, I wonder how he's going to get Lonnie off the planet and save his family.
Same.
And then they cut away and it's just him on the bench.
Fool.
Dang it!
I was
so mad.
I also have my childlike joy where I was like, he's gonna get his family off. They're gonna all go to Yavin. It's gonna be so cute. And then it was like, oh no, he just shot him on the bench.
In broad daylight.
In broad daylight.
He did so much work for you.
He did so much and risked so much. And like, he was so scared the whole time. And the fact that he's the reason that they knew about the Death Star. He's the reason.
True hero. I think the only thing that like made that make sense in my head was that like by Luthen immediately shooting him, like basically plugged up any gaps that were still there.
Yep.
And essentially saved his family, because then in my brain I was like, well, now the Empire can't use him as his family as leverage, because they're like, well, you guys don't know anything. Like, we're not going to go after you. And in my brain, I'm like, that's how I justified it in my head. I was like, oh, well, his family's safe. They're fatherless, but their family's safe.
Well, and I hate to be the nihilist as well, but like Lonnie's family most likely is safe because everyone else in ISB High Command either kills themselves by the end of this arc or goes to... What's so funny about that?
Not wrong. What's so funny about that?
So the Partagaz scene was also like really, really well done. I wasn't expecting that at all. But you know when he gets called in, he's like, you're like, oh, I think he's about to talk to Vader or Palpatine right now. And you're like, oh man, that's not going to go well.
Either way. He's dead either way.
I was going to be really... I think it was a really good plot device for them to have him murder himself. However, I wanted to see Palpatine so bad in episode 12. I was like, dude, we're going to see Palpatine here. He's going to get grilled, even if it's like the side of his cowl and that's all we see. Oh, I was so excited. And they were like, nah, we're not going to do that. So that was fine. Although, do you guys know in The Emperor's New Groove, are you both familiar? Okay,
Quite.
So Cusco lands in the pack of black jaguars next to the squirrel, and he goes, ha! And then everybody wakes up. That was my reaction when I saw Daedra in the white and orange jumpsuit.
Yes!
Wrecked.
Ah!
That was my exact reaction. I was like, yes, just desserts. And she is so scared.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's such a tragic, poetic ending for her with the fact that she grew up in the Republic or the Empire, the system, and the fact that she did all of this for the system, and then she ends up in the system's prison. Like, it's so good. Like, I was curious for what they were gonna do to her, because I know a lot of people were wondering if she was gonna end up on the Death Star or something like that, and she was gonna go down with the Death Star poetically. But I do think sending her to prison is like, it's so good.
It was a rough piece of just desserts. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
Although maybe she's still serving the Empire. Maybe she's building ATST parts. We have no idea.
You never know.
I think we're ready to move to standout characters.
Fantastic. I'll start this one off. I think really the standout character in these 3 episodes is Bix Colleen.
It's Bix.
Oh my gosh. Winning hearts and minds for the rebellion over here. Holy cow. And she had to make a hard choice basically like ending it with Cassian, but a good one. Obviously, we get the subtext at the end where like, oh yeah, she probably knew she was pregnant at that point. So she was like, that makes my decision a lot easier, but also like harder because she knew that Cassian was going to do the dangerous missions the rebellion had to offer. But Cassian wouldn't have made that choice. Absolutely. I don't think he had it in him. So her doing that for him, so important. She knew it was going to be hard, and she knew maybe, I mean, she didn't know that he was going to go to Scarif and get blown up, but she kind of knew that that was a final goodbye. And she made that choice so the rebellion can thrive. And I just thought that was a really admirable thing to do. And I only got a little sad when they cut to her at the end of the episode and she's carrying the little one. And I was like, dang it, Disney.
Oh, goodness.
My heart.
Why you do this to us? It was already sad enough knowing what was going to happen to him. It was already sad enough.
They did such a good job like pulling at heartstrings, even though we all knew what happens to the main character in the next installment. You're like, what could they possibly do to fill in the gap? And you're like, they did the most here. Fantastic work.
Trauma. They could give us more
so much trauma.
The people will love it. They will thrive off of it.
Take it. Please give me the drama, please.
Did you know people like being sad?
They like crying when they watch our show.
It does tickle the brain in that good way.
I have to say, I really enjoyed Luthen and Clea's flashbacks. I get a little annoyed anytime they do a flashback because I'm like, can you please continue to advance the story? Like, I'm like, what do we need background? I don't want context. I want to see what's going on right now because I have no patience and I'm basically a man baby. Like, but they did Clea so well. They did her so much justice in the fact that like she is not a child anymore. Like her trauma turns her into an adult and she starts thinking like a rebel basically right out of the gate. It's almost shocking how much she has this like insane streetwise. She's really smart. She is able to like haggle with this person who she's never met. It's just some random trader on whatever planet, and she crushes it. And when they, I think, are on Naboo and they cause they blow up, it's their version of an Irish car bomb, like she barely flinches. She's like, oh, like, that was loud, but everyone around them is absolutely panicking, but she knows what she's in for. Like at such a young age, it's like, man, I'm going to probably talk about this a little bit later in the theme as well, but it's like, it's the idea that empires make their own rebellions. Empires and their cruelty end up creating the very people who will then overthrow them.
So good.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
The words "so good" I was just on a continuous mutter under my breath. It's like, this is so good.
So good.
Oh my gosh, it's like, this is so good. Like, babe, this is really good, right?
This is so good.
Although my wife's a pretty big Star Wars fan as well. It's something we really
She was also
bond
mumbling
over.
to herself, this is so good.
I know, she's like a little teary-eyed. She's like, oh no. One thing I did want to point out in the Mina Rao, when we switch back to Bix, I'm so happy B2 is fine.
Oh yeah. Dude,
oh, my heart.
Sigh of relief. I was like, B2? Literally, I cried a little specifically for B2. I was like already crying, but then B2 showed up and I had a good little cry for B2 because,
he's
my
chasing
gosh.
the other droid around.
He's just living his happy little life with his little farmer family, and I love it. The little baby Andor is gonna have B2 in his life.
Oh yeah, it's like the equivalent of like having the dog survive the narrative. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. You're like, I was really going to lose it there for a second. Ruthie, did you have any standout characters that really struck your brain?
I don't know. It's so good. It's so good. There's so many. I don't know. With these 3 episodes, you really have to give it to Clea and her arc. Like, so much of these 3 episodes is her story. Especially with losing Luthen and all of that stuff. And like, Oh my gosh. My favorite thing is the memes about how the ISB were like, it had to be 3 people. There's no way it could be any less. And it's like just her being cool. You know, I don't know.
She's
and
just rampaging through the hospital.
Yeah. Well, and so smart. So like all of her training that she's been doing her whole life with Luthen, everything that like has come to this moment in her having to kill him, which is so sad. It's so sad. But no, just her. And then when she's on Yavin dealing with all those emotions and everything, just, it's so good. It's so good. We just have to keep saying that. It's so good.
I was a little worried for her when they had gotten her back to Yavin, because she's like when Cassian and Melshi get to her in the studio, she's like not doing great. And she has basically like, hey, I have put up this facade for as long as I could, and that ended when I got back to my safe house. And like she was just like broken. She even, when Cassian shows up and she's like, are you looking for somebody else? And I'm like, stop it, they're looking for you. Like, take the help.
You, girl.
Oh my gosh. I was like, I need you to take some R&R, please. Like, you... Oh, she left it all in the field.
I'm so glad she went with them. I was so worried when she's like, I can't go. They hate me there. I'm like, if they have to leave her at this safe house, I am going to crash out. Like, I am so glad she ended up on Yavin. She ended up with friends, like, ugh. Because she deserved it. She deserved to end up with the good people that will take care of her.
Absolutely.
I was worrying a little bit about her when they were flying back into Yavin, and they like stopped it because like, you know, they scream in and with no clearance, no flight plan. So they're like, this U-Wing shuttle that, first off, we know is Cassian.
Yeah.
They're like, it actually might be full of Imperial spies.
Who's in there? Like,
yeah. They're Cassian. Like, come out with your hands up. It's like, dude, you know who it is. And she has a concussion, and thhow can we be sure? It's like, please give her medical attention right now. Right now. Like, they're telling her in the U-Wing, like, don't let her fall asleep.
You're the good guys. Give her the medical attention.
Yeah, they've never said concussion in Star Wars before, but I'm like, they're humans. They can experience brain trauma. I'm like, she needs somebody to look after her. Put her in the Bacta tank, for crying out loud.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she gets bodied by that stun grenade. Like, it, like, throws her into a wall.
Oh, yeah, it's like a straight concussion grenade. I'm like, that's not a non-lethal weapon. That's going to hurt everybody.
That's how you break everyone's bones. Like, no thanks.
The
classic Imperial.
Yeah, of course the space cops would be like, this is clearly a non-lethal weapon. It's like, it sent 3 adults off their feet into the air, like...
slamming them into balls.
Yeah, it's like, it's non-lethal. It's like, they all probably have... between minor and major concussions. Like,
100%.
Okay.
Because I'm about to fight off a sneeze here in a second, Ruthie, we're going to move into some of our like primary themes for these episodes. What stuck out the most to you?
Someone else answer, and then I think about it.
Andrew, you're up next.
I have some stuff written. So one of the themes we kind of go over is the idea of like the Imperial structure of government is not built in a way that is meant for people to succeed and do good. It's everything about like the rebellion succeeds just as much on its own bravery as it does on the incompetence of the Imperials. Like, half the time they're just so stupid and everyone is just seeking their own glory that they can't get out of their own way. It's like if you go up the chain, and I was listening to another podcast that they mentioned this, so it's not really my idea. I think it was the Resistance broadcast. I'll credit them. And they were talking about like everyone in the ISB chain is just doing the finger thing to the next person in line.
You stupid.
Like, yeah, either literally or metaphorically, they're like, you are beneath me. And that's why the Empire doesn't win. That's why they can't win. It's like the only reason that they get anything remotely accomplished is because of their massive size and because Palpatine is literally an evil space wizard. Like, he's crazy powerful. He's like, I am not of mortal men. Like, yeah, a man who can shoot lightning out of his fingertips is probably a threat to everyone around him.
Is probably going to cause some damage.
Yeah, but he's also the same guy who has been trained in a doctrine of like, it is my power above everyone else's. And so when he creates his system of government that mirrors that exact philosophy, it doesn't go well, because that was the problem with the original Sith, is that they kept stabbing each other in the back, and now they can't help but do that. They're like, you gave us all knives and then told us to face in the same direction. Like, of course, everyone is just like, stab, stab, stab.
Well, and it's so evident with what happened with Deidre. Because, like, if she hadn't tried to go above her station and be the best and get things done, the rebellion would have never learned about the Death Star. Like, it is literally, like, her actions of her trying to be the best and get things done. It's that same concept where it's just, like, so much of it, it's just, yeah, it crumples down upon itself.
So that was something that was a little unclear to me as to exactly what happened. How did Dedra find out about the Death Star exactly?
It sounds like it was like part of some other communication she got. Like she got some random communication and it was just like a slight part of that. I don't know. I would have to rewatch that scene because they like kind of explain it. That she was just hoarding all these documents and digging into these little tiny itty bitty things from these documents and gaining more and more and more information. And she just so happened upon the Death Star. Because it doesn't sound like she really personally cares about the Death Star. It was just like in connection to something that had to do with Luthen, where that was also part of it.
Right. She's looking for any scrap that will relate back. I definitely saw this as, if you guys are familiar with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, that scene where Charlie's in the room and he's pointing up to the board with all the like push pins and like yarn strung between everything. And it's like the big conspiracy thing, right? Like that's what's happening. And she's like, I got him. I figured it out. She's a lizard. And like, so she's like doing this. She's got like that locked down, but she's like, oh yeah, I found out about Stardust, but really it was about Axis over here. And Krennic's like, okay, so you missed the point on what I was talking about here. You messed up. You found out about our secret project. Now I'm going to finger poke you in the head and send you off to a jail for the rest of your life.
What a freaking punch in her face to be like inferred that she might be a rebel spy. Like, she is so fascist. She is in it to win it. Like, I can't remember who I was talking to someone. They're like, if Deidre joins the rebellion, I'm going to be so mad. I'm like, there is no way in hell this lady is joining the rebellion. Like, she is drinking the Kool-Aid. And so, like, what a slap in her face for them to come to her after she's, like, gained her ultimate goal. She's found the man she's been looking for years. And they look at her and they go, are you a rebel spy? Because obviously you're a rebel spy. Like, oh my gosh, it's back to what you were talking about, where it's the snake that bites its own tail, that you can do as much as you can for this institution, but it's always gonna backfire on you because that's not what the institution wants. It's not gonna let you succeed. So it's so crazy.
That was actually a really good summary of kind of the theme that I was thinking of while watching this, which was really like the cost of corruption, was that she, for all intents and purposes, used up her own usefulness. And at that point, she was like, hey, no, I can still do stuff. And the Empire was like, no, actually, you kind of look... Yeah,
straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Undercooked chicken, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
100%.
Overcooked fish, straight to jail.
Unpaid parking ticket, also surprisingly, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
And that's essentially what happened. Like, they were like, hey, yeah, we don't actually want to do you. And all Krennic had to say was, you kind of smell like a rebel spy. And everyone was like, oh, yep, she's gone. And you're like, that was so quick. Like, they turned on her. She didn't even get a chance to climb the ranks when Partagaz went away. Like, she was canned so quick.
Well, and at this point, so someone pointed out to me that the last arc of Andor it's not like weeks or months away from Rogue One. It is hours before Rogue One. So Krennic is already being pressed by Grand Moff Tarkin, who is gunning for his job again because he's like, I'm higher than you. I get to put my finger on your head and take your job and take your project that you've been spending your entire adult life on. And he just, like Krennic just blows it. He's already like on edge. So he's like, you know what? I have the opportunity to blame my failure and my mistake on somebody. I'm going to take it on Dedra in this moment. Yeah. He's like, Vader gets to choke people out. I'm sending her to prison.
To jail.
Straight to jail.
That all being said, I really hope Krennic pushing down on Daedra's head becomes the new meme format that we all assume. I'm really excited for that. Although it's really hard to get screenshots from Disney Plus right now because they have wickedly good security software and it drives me nuts. Someday I shall use my new powers of cybersecurity to hack into the systems.
Hack into Disney Plus to take screenshots.
So 100%. I have a screen grabber on my work computer that used to work. I used to be able to, if I did a free-form rectangular snip, I was able to catch video of anything on Disney Plus, and then they updated it, and now it doesn't work anymore. But it was it was terrible quality. It was like 720p tops. But I was like, it's working.
It works. If it works, it works. Okay, this is off topic, but I need to mention it because I literally just remembered it. The conversation between Saw and Mon Mothma, where Mon Mothma's like, you're on Jeddah. We know you're on Jeddah. And Saw's like, I'm not on Jeddah. Where do you think I am? And she's like, dude,
no
just
idea
give it
where
up.
I am.
Exactly. I don't know why I just remembered that, but we were like talking about all this serious stuff, and then I remembered this because we were talking about meme formats. I think that's what it is. And it was like, you don't know where I am. Yes,
absolutely.
We do, dude.
It's a glorified no, you don't.
No, no.
And I'm like, he's being a child on that monitor. You know, people in the background are like, dude,
no,
you need to cut the transmission, man. Like, what are you doing?
I love how much crazy Saw we got. Because, like, he was crazy in the first season, but they did such a good job of kind of, like, really showing... Because he's always been crazy. But, like, showing his true dive into the very deep end where we see him in Rogue One. I think they did such a good job with that. It's so funny, though, that moment.
Well, and they went straight to substance abuse. They're like, hey, kids, have you learned about drugs yet? Yeah. He's like, if you sniff this highly explosive gasoline, oh my goodness, you will see stars.
This is how you live. Live in the moment.
The fact that that's how they retconned, like, the reason he's in his breathing apparatus, they're like, yeah, it's actually because of his drug problem.
Drugs.
You're like, what? That's wild.
So I actually have a little bit of extra detail on that. Mm-hmm. His breathing apparatus is not oxygen. It's rhydonium. He is so addicted to it that he actually has a tank of Rhydo strapped to him at all times that he's constantly huffing on. So I thought it was an oxygen tank because he was inhaling gasoline for the better part of his life. I was like, obviously he has lung damage. It's like, no, but Tony Gilroy in an interview confirmed.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he confirmed. He's like, yeah, he's just sniffing gas the whole time.
I'm glad he went out high on gas. I'm glad that when Jeddah exploded, he took that little huff and he was like, we're here.
I know. I thought it was like, yeah, he's got to take one last hit of oxygen so he can, face down his fear. He's like, no, I'm not doing this sober.
I mean, I get it. So, smart move, dude. That's wild, though, that is basically... Also, that makes him a walking explosive device. Because they're like, yes. Yeah, if he got shook too hard, he would just... Yeah. That's wild. That's crazy. I'm like, you guys, that's so dangerous. Now I'm going to go back and watch Rebels, and he's going to be like wearing the suit and be like, Ezra needs to be so careful.
Run. Everybody run.
Run, boy.
It was one thing that I was telling some of my coworkers, because we'll talk about, hey, like, what TV are you watching? What are you guys doing? Like, try to have actual real conversations and not just talk about work all the time. And like one of my coworkers was saying, he's like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, I used to really like Star Wars when I was a kid. I used to go to all of like A New Hope and Empire and Return of the Jedi, like just every chance I could get, like when it was in theaters. And I was like, first off, I'm super jealous. That sounds awesome. But second, like, I told him, because I know his kid is kind of younger, and I was like, ooh, this is TV-14, and it's not joking about that.
No.
Like, that's a hard line. Like, I know people will let their children watch, like, Avengers movies because they're like, oh, they're PG-13 or TV-14, but it's like, it's fine. This
superheroes.
No.
But no,
Yeah.
Andor is like, it's another level.
Yeah, it's like they were like one F-bomb away from getting a TVMA.
Oh, yeah.
Like the with a lot of the content they cover, like we've talked on earlier episodes, especially in the second arc with Bix's assault. We talked a lot about that, and I think the only thing I said is like, I wish they would have just put a content warning on it. I'm not mad that it's there, but I wish they would have just warned people who didn't want to see it, like people who have gone through that and have experienced that kind of assault. It's like, give them a chance.
Give them a warning.
Yeah, give them a warning. And there was a couple moments like that as the show like kept going on. It's like, oh, crazy drug use. That's insane. Like multiple characters committing suicide. It's like, it's
just
an
the
adult
whole
show.
Gorman massacre. That whole thing was like traumatic to watch. Like, oh my gosh, I was like sitting there like crying, traumatized. Like, it's a lot. And it's heavy. It's very so heavy.
Like,
I was actually cycling when I was doing that. And I noticed, like, I was like looking down at my heart rate and I'm like, oh man, I'm moving really fast right now. Like trying to watch that. And my brain, it's like, my brain is subconsciously telling me, try to escape, try to escape, try to escape, try to escape. And it's like, could not, like, I looked, because I watched 2 episodes through while I was doing that. And I was like, wow, I went like 30 miles. Like, that's wild. I never ride that far.
Run away, run away, run away, run away.
A good thing to watch while you're exercising.
Oh, yeah. Well, and life is so busy. I'm like, I got to double up somewhere, you know? So
I was a little rattled to go back to the Gorman Massacre because I try to watch once through, like, while making no notes, like, hey, I'm just going to sit down. I'm just going to enjoy it because I know, like, if I were to be super analytical, I really wouldn't enjoy it for what it is. I just do one playthrough and then I watch it a second time. But the Gorman Massacre especially, I was like, I'm going to have trouble coming back to this. I'm like, yeah, yes. I pushed it off till the day of when we recorded last week. And I was like, I got to watch it again. I need it fresh or else I'm not going to do great. And I was like, oh, it's just as sad the second time.
No, it's a lot. Like, that's what I thought when I watched it through the first time. I was like, this is one of those things that, like, I am so glad I watched, but I don't think I will ever rewatch it. Like, unless I was maybe watching it with someone else, I don't know if I could watch through that again. So I totally understand that sentiment.
100%. Yeah.
I definitely remember
like
watching that. And I had a lot of thoughts where I was like, I wish they would have done this differently, because there's like the one guy who's like screaming that it's a trap and nobody's listening. Like, they're all chanting and stuff like that. They're passing weapons through the crowds, and in my brain, I'm like, you guys need to set people on the outside. Like, don't put people in the middle with weapons. That's a bad idea. Like, I'm like going through this in my brain. I'm like, okay, how can we make this better for them? Because I know that it's coming, right? I know that this is about to end really, really poorly because it's very obviously a trap. And just the whole time I'm like sweating. I'm like, this is so bad. It's a trap. Yeah, 100%.
Admiral Akbar wakes up from a cold sweat. Oh no!
Oh no! The Gormans!
The Gormans!
But no, the whole time, it's heavy. It's heavy for sure.
Well, and so interestingly enough, Andrew and I for a long time have been saying we really wish that Star Wars took a more heavy approach, because there's your kids' content, which there's a lot of it. Some of it is really good. Some of it's great for everybody, Clone Wars, Rebels. But they've also got stuff like The Resistance and like that other show that's like very much animated for like young kids. Which I get it. That's always been the main demographic for Star Wars fans, but we live in a generation now where we have Star Wars fans ranging from 6 to 60. So I'm like, the fact that we were like, hey, we really kind of want something a little bit more adult, a little bit more like dark, and then they gave us Andor, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think I was prepared for what I was asking. It wasn't quite like
No.
Game of Thrones level, but like for what Disney was able to punch out, I was like, okay, you guys did not pull your punches on this. It was well written, it was dark, and it really, I mean, for me, it goes right into our next session super well of like, it had a lot of really good IRL parallels. Andrew, I know you've got some great notes about this too. Please share some of those.
So one of the things that and this is one of the original inspirations, you could say, for the original trilogy, was George Lucas has gone on record saying this. He's like, yes, this is supposed to be an allegory for Vietnam. Mm-hmm. And Luthen's flashback very much made it feel like, because he went back to his ship and he's just, oh crap, I can't remember what it's called. It's not called PTSD until like technically 3 months after. It's called something else in the moment, but he's
Are
just
you thinking
like,
shell shock?
Essentially, yeah. He's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Make it stop. And he's like having a breakdown, and it almost is like a relief when he finds Clea, because then he's like, I have new purpose. I'm not meant to just slaughter these civilians, because that's what they're doing. You can tell that's what they're doing, and it's horrible. It's like the Empire doing a Tiananmen Square like every week on a different planet. And we see the same thing in Solo, a Star Wars story. It's like he joins the Imperial Army and he's like, oh no, we're the bad guys. This is terrible.
Shoot, this is not good.
And like that was very much one of the IRL parallels that they pulled with in the show, not only referencing the original trilogy, but just in general, that they're like, the Empire is not the good guys. Are we the bad guys? It's very much
100%.
Yeah.
One of the IRL parallels that I saw was like when they are at Gorman and they're basically setting everything up, they are using tactics that are like known to be used. Basically, they're public agitators. In this case, it played a sniper, which wasn't like necessarily something that happens all the time, but has happened in the past. And when there are unruly protests, it is not uncommon for governments to purposefully add more fuel to the fire so that they can bring the necessary amount of force that they want to bring to the situation. They want to put the boot down hard, but they're like, well, we have to be scared enough and somebody has to get shot first. And they're like, why don't we just shoot him? And they're like, brilliant. And then it just like goes off the hill from there. And it's like, that's a real thing that people do. Yeah. Like you'll get people in crowds that will like try to fight police. And like, those are just other police officers. Like you got to really watch yourself. Like if you're like protesting, you got to be careful. You got to watch out for those people who are instigating because they do not have your best interest at heart. Like you got to look out for each other and watch those guys.
One of the things I thought was really interesting, and I know this isn't necessarily the last 3 episodes, but it all plays in, is just, I don't know, we haven't really seen very much Star Wars news. Like, you know, it's so interesting in these episodes getting to see the newscasters. Well, also like talking to Cyril's mom and how the way that the newscasters were talking that we were seeing were impacting the way that these people on Coruscant, like planets away, were viewing this situation. And I thought that was a very interesting, talking about like real life situations, is just like so much of your context of what's going on in these situations relates to the one news person or the one news outlet that you're listening to. And so many of those news outlets that we got to see talking, like, for sure did not have the right story and were very much telling like the wrong things, and all these people were scared and listening to it. Because like if you do just listen to what this news person is saying, yeah, that sounds really scary. But I love that they showed that side of it where it's like, here is like the impact of the way the story is being told, not just from the government, but also from these little like news media outlets, was so interesting.
Right.
I don't know. It was so cool to see that impact, like specifically in the episodes.
I rolled my eyes so hard when I saw them because I was like, oh, come on. Star Wars has Fox News. Are you kidding me?
Real though.
Yeah, oh my
Of course
gosh.
they do though. Of course they do.
Grandma, turn off the TV.
Well, and like, I'm glad you mentioned Cyril's mother because Edie, she is telling Cyril, I know what's actually going on. I've listened to the news. It's like, no, you don't. He was there.
He's literally there.
She's like, I know more than you. It's like, you definitely don't.
Such a cool, like, dynamic to bring into the Star Wars world, to be like, look how crazy this is.
Yeah. Well, and it's been so interesting seeing some people on the internet who maybe don't have like as good of a filter on their thoughts as maybe they should.
What a polite way of saying that.
Some people on the internet who don't have a filter.
It's like they're kind of outing themselves. They're like, oh my gosh, like I'm seeing connections between my own political beliefs and the Empire. And I was like, you shouldn't say that out loud. You should not admit to that on
Maybe
the
you talk to a therapist about this revelation you've had.
Men will do anything but go to therapy.
But yeah, they'll talk on the
right.
internet about their Star Wars opinions.
We call this telling on yourself, pretty much.
It so is. They're like, I've always rooted for the Empire. I can't believe they would do something so evil.
Oh
like,
my gosh,
time out.
Darth Vader would never approve of that. Like, have you met Darth Vader? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Darth Vader wouldn't approve of that. Darth Vader don't care. He's Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, the guy who, before he was technically evil, had already like slaughtered a village of Tusken raiders on Tatooine.
Yeah.
Like Darth Vader, the guy who was like, oh, I actually am evil now, so I don't actually have to feel guilty about all those people I killed because I'm just leaning into it at this point. And I'm like, dude, like murdering people is like his favorite thing in the world. He
just randomly chokes people out all the time. Like, what do you mean he wouldn't approve of that? Like, I don't know. It's that kind of sentiment where you're like, what are you talking about? It's literally like the Dark Lord. Like, that's his whole thing.
Yeah, it's like, was the pitch black armor not like a giveaway?
Creepy mask and the bright red lightsaber, you know?
Yeah, it's like red is in almost all cultures in that setting is like meant to evoke a sword covered in blood. Like, come on, guys. just show a little bit of critical thought. Like, I'm not saying I'm a smart person, but I know when I don't know enough about a topic, it's like, I'm not going to pitch in on this. I'm not about to make a fool of myself. And I just see people do it all the time. I'm like, dude, you could have just said nothing. That would have been free. You didn't need to better. You didn't need to just throw your horrible take on this show out into the world. It's like, come on.
We see that so much. It reminds me of, Andrew, that comment you posted on that one. It was like a podcast interview or something where the guy was like, there wasn't enough character development in Andor. And you're like, are you a child? Like, what is wrong with you? I watched that clip for the first time the other day and then like saw that your comment was on there and I was like, oh, this is so good.
Yeah, I got to him first.
Woo. All right, we'll move into our next one here, guys. We'll go into kind of like our other kind of miscellaneous Star Wars references and then we'll kind of wrap up from there. I mean, Andrew, you posted something over on Threads and Blue Sky that like really got people moving and it was like, hey, give a collective like show of hands of who is immediately planning on going and watching Rogue One after this because we haven't been heard enough and we need to see this play itself out again.
I did.
Because I am so excited that's going to be, right now I'm doing homework, writing final papers, stuff like that. It's
nerd.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm just like, my treat for when I turn in my final papers is going to be like watching Rogue One again. And I'm so excited. Oh, cannot wait. I think overall I was devastated to the amount that I wanted to be devastated watching this show. I cannot wait for more Star Wars TV like this. And it was just, it made me want to watch Rogue One and A New Hope so bad, like getting into that. My final kind of reference for like how this relates to the rest of Star Wars was I saw a take on Instagram today or TikTok. Can't remember between the two. It's all mush in my brain anyway.
It's all the same.
Was somebody referenced that Alderaan got destroyed, right? And Alderaan is a like OG core world. So like they compared that. They're like, hey, imagine if like Italy, for example, got scrubbed off the map. That's what it was like for Alderaan to go away. And that like blew my mind a little bit. And I'm also pretty sure Alderaan was meant to be like modeled after Italy, as at least the architecture. We see it like kind of in the Obi-Wan series. Somebody can fact check me in the comments for that. But that's essentially what they compared it to, was just like, hey, take a really populous country that everybody knows about and considers to be like a pretty cool place and just get rid of it. Just boom,
Just
gone,
blow it up.
done.
Just explode it.
Just blow it up.
Just blow it up.
And that stuck with me a little bit. I was like, that's a really good take. R.I.P. Alderaan.
No, like, and it's crazy to think, like, with that comparison, like, how many people just didn't care. Like, that's so crazy.
And not to bring it back to the online discourse that I've been kind of a casual observer of, so many people I saw, and I couldn't tell if they were being serious or not. They saw that like, oh well, the rebels are terrorists because there was like thousands, if not millions, of people on the Death Star. I'm like, say that slower. The last part, the Death Star.
They were on the Death Star.
It's like
They had families. Wow.
We love saying that when somebody just gets absolutely bodied on a show. We're like, oh my gosh, that guy had a family.
That guy had a family.
Not anymore, he doesn't. But
He
like,
ain't got nothing.
it's like if the Empire kills a billion, like probably 8 billion people, if we're supposed to think that Alderaan is a similar population to our planet Earth, 6 to 8 billion people, however, whatever the number's at now. And people were just like, oh, well, I am still going to defend Palpatine and his actions. It's like, you are psycho. That's a crazy opinion. Don't do that. Stop it. It's like get the spray bottle. It's like, stop it.
A cursory Google search tells me that there were approximately 2 billion inhabitants on Alderaan when it was blown up.
Oh, that's not even that many people.
Yeah,
2
that's
billion?
not that many. Just
What
2
is 2
million. 2 billion. Sorry, 2 billion.
Yeah, so Italy is not a fair comparison then. That would be like all of like China or all of India immediately going away. Like a quarter of the world's population. Wild.
And just to
2
clarify,
billion.
that would be a bad thing to the people who are listening.
No, that's great. All hail Emperor Palpatine.
Oh,
yeah.
weird. Your
Thank
voice
you
is
for
breaking up.
just
So weird.
Because oh no, Ruth's leaving. Ruth's gone. Where'd she go?
Oh no.
We're experiencing some technical difficulties over on our guest side. Sorry about that, everybody.
It's like, that's weird. It says she was kicked. On my end, it was a bad connection.
The Empire? No.
When has anything been called the Empire and been a good thing?
It's a good thing.
Come on, guys. Read a book. Or just watch a good movie.
Do you think the Romans referred to themselves as the Roman Empire? They're like, yeah, we're part of the Roman Empire. And they're like, hey, man, you shouldn't do that. It's bad luck. And then poof.
Then they were
It's
gone.
like, no. We're going to die. And then Rome disappeared. What? It was like 200, 300 years? We have some big Roman historians in our patron server. I could message them, be like, how long was Rome around?
How long was that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, just wait until somebody calls America the American Empire. Then we're hosed. So
Then we know.
Other people already
the Death
do.
Star is coming.
I hate that, Andrew, so much.
That doesn't surprise me.
Not at all. Not at all.
Are we the bad guys? He said for the 5th time this episode.
Straight to jail. All
Straight
of
to
us.
jail.
Straight to jail.
I did have a couple other Easter eggs I wanted to point out. So in the hospital that Clea absolutely just rampages her way through, they could not stop her even if they tried.
Oh, no.
We do see that on one of the floors there is a full immersion back to tank, like what we see Luke Skywalker in Empire. I just thought that was cool. Like it wasn't even like in focus, and I was like, hey, that's neat. Like they're still. Yeah, I was like, that's a thing I recognize from the thing I like.
I know that one.
That is
Watch, in a week, we're going to find out that that was the same back-to-tank that Luke used. And they're going to be like, yeah,
exact same one.
Dave Filoni found this in a closet, so we just pulled it out of the props department. You're like, what?
We found it. We put it up.
But actually, the Capitono of Beskar is actually an ice cream maker.
I hate you so much.
No, I love Star Wars.
Prop history in Star Wars is one of the silliest things to ever get into.
I know.
So great, though.
Like, the original Anakin's lightsaber, it's called the Graflex because it's part of a old camera flash called the Graflex. Like, they just found a piece. They're like, this is a tube-looking thing. Cool. I better. Yeah, they're like, this looks cool, and that's literally that. It's like, great, you now understand prop making. This looks cool. Let's use it. That's the only. That's it. That's all you need.
I mean, that's a big callback to the 1/4-inch cable absolutely carrying the props department in season 2 of Andor. Every time they plug something in, I'm like, that's a guitar cord. Every time. I was like, somebody took that, ripped it out of an amp, and put it on a switchboard. That is 100% what that is right there.
No,
or it's just a soundboard. Like, or they just salvaged a soundboard, and they're like, this needs more lights on it. I was like, yes.
Perfect. Throw more lights and buttons on there. Star Wars.
Fantastic.
I love it.
So that is the entire like Clea's switchboard radio thing. It's literally just an analog soundboard that they found, which I hope they didn't actually destroy. I'm like, actually that's a relic now. Please don't destroy that. And then they just put these like little I don't think they're called toroids. I think they're like magnetic inducers above every single hole, the little copper windings. And then they're like, perfect. It's now this like
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's the perfect retro sci-fi analog look that they're going for. And I'm like, I want to touch every single one of those buttons. The little thing where she like turns it and it does a little clicky clacks. I'm like, I would very much like to touch that, and not a weird way, but I want to make it go click.
Can we get that in a handheld fidget, please? I would really like that in a fidget form.
Yeah, come home. I got a new fidget toy, and it's a 32 channel board.
It's an entire
What have you
board.
done?
I mean, what are sound guys if not just professional fidgeters?
I don't like that you said that.
But actually, I have been a sound engineer for 1 month, so you better watch yourself, mister.
All right.
Okay, let's see. I already talked about Saw Gerrera can't stop huffing gas.
Very important. Very important.
I will say I got like really, really excited when they're back on Yavin and Admiral Raddus references Merrick. He's like, if Merrick was here, he would just shoot him out of the sky. And for a split second, I thought he was talking about the old Starkiller character from the Force Unleashed games, because his name is Galen Merrick. It's spelled differently. And I was like, is that who he's talking about? And then I watched Rogue One, and Merrick is actually the Blue Squadron leader who dies at the Battle of Scarif. I mean, because they all die. That's why they're not at the Battle of Yavin in A New Hope. It's just Red Squadron left, with a literal noob taking them into battle. Good thing he's got the Force.
He thinks he's magic.
It's really sorry, Nathan, go ahead.
So I was going to outro us, asking for any final comments at this point. So go ahead, Andrew, if you've got anything.
Oh, I thought it was really funny when Cassian goes to the Force healer unintentionally, and he's like, I don't know if I believe this. It's like, you guys are in a universe with an actual system of magic, and he's like, I don't believe in this crap. It's like, maybe you should. Like, and it's like, I'm wondering, like, has the Imperial propaganda machine hidden the fact that like Sidious is a Sith Lord? Do they know that?
I don't think they do. I don't believe they know that they're Sith Lords.
Yeah, same. I don't think the Imperial populace knows about Vader and Palpatine being Sith.
Yeah, they know.
That kind of blows my mind a little bit.
I don't know. You have to think of it like all the Christmas movies where Santa's real, but they don't believe in Santa. It's like the same vibe where it's like, how could you not? Like, this man brings you presents every year and you don't believe in him? It's the same thing here.
I know.
You just saw that guy get levitated by his neck off of the floorboards, and you were like, your hokey religion doesn't mean anything. Like, Tarkin's like, Vader, quit it with your antics. But he also knows Jedi are real, and he's like, whatever.
Yeah, in the Clone Wars, Tarkin gets rescued by several Jedi. And he sees the Force that whole time. And he's still like, you guys are stupid, weirdo. Get your cult witchcraft out of here. And it's like, they can actually levitate stuff with their minds, though. Like, I'm not saying I would, like, join a cult if the leader could, like, levitate stuff. I'd be like, I'm like, that is something to take
Be
note
more
of.
likely.
It's like, don't offer me any Kool-Aid, but, like, that's crazy, though, right?
I love Kool-Aid.
That's a little weird.
Absolutely. All right, guys, with that, we are sitting at just over the hour mark, so we are going to wrap this one here today. But before we do, we would be remiss if we did not give Ruthie the spotlight one more time. And please, if you would, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me all over the interwebs. It's Ruthless Nightsister basically everywhere. I post on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram if you want to see my cosplays and stupid little videos. And YouTube and Twitch if you want to interact with me and my gaming content. If you come over to Twitch, I talk about Star Wars all the freaking time. So if you ever want to pick my brain about anything Star Wars, my biggest things are the like Jedi games and any Star Wars video games. You can always do that over there. But you can find me like I'm all over the place. I'm everywhere. I'm watching everybody.
And that's Ruthless
Santa.
Nightsister. Everybody, we are so excited to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for all of the great takes on Andor. And until next time, may the Force be with you.